All right, what's up, family? In this video, I'm going to be going over 10 simple money lessons that changed my life and that can also do the same for you. So this is a different style of video than I usually make. In the comments below, let me know if you like this type of video. But I wanted to put this together mainly to just teach you guys a few things that I've learned over my past few years that I've been a full-time entrepreneur. Also, lessons learned from buying my first property, also accumulating over $300,000 in funding, and basically you guys can use these lessons to be able to achieve similar results in your life. And then also too, all the things that I've learned over the past few years from me to studying financial literacy, learning from multi-millionaires, and then applying those principles to my life and getting results. So with that being said, if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also the like button if you guys get a lot of value from this video. So with that being said, let's jump into it. So first thing, I just want to start this off with a disclaimer. So first of all, I'm not a financial advisor or CPA. This is not investment advice and is used for educational/entertainment purposes only. I'm telling you what I've learned through my own experience. So this is not fluff or theory. Following this advice does not guarantee any results, but by applying these principles, I've seen major improvements in my life. So with that being said, the first lesson that I learned that really made a big impact in my life was that being paid for your time and saving money for decades will never get you ahead financially. So this is something I actually learned really early on. So, when I was younger, I was just getting out of high school. I was seeing, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I was looking at everyone that worked jobs basically for decades of time. And I realized that even though they worked hard for this period of time, they still were not getting ahead. But then when I looked at other people who were multi-millionaires, they earned money differently. They operated completely differently with money. And so this is one of the big lessons, the big differentiator between why one group got ahead and the other one really stayed behind. So when you're paid for your time, your income is instantly capped from day one based on the amount of hours you work, your set wage, and the amount of working days that you have in a lifetime. So when you think about that, the amount of hours that you're normally working within a week are going to be 40 hours a week. Usually you could work, some people work more than that, but you're just going to be 40 hours a week. So whatever amount of money that you're paid on an hourly basis, whatever that is times 40 is usually what you're going to be making every single week. And, you're usually not going to make much more than that. And then when it comes to your set wage, when it comes to you being paid for your time, whatever amount that you agree to be paid for, whether it be on an hourly basis or a yearly basis, that's what you're going to be paid at. So that, that amount is usually that, and it's not going to really increase. It can increase, slowly over time, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty similar. And lastly, the amount of working days that you have in a lifetime. So ideally, the average person doesn't really start working for real until after they get out of college, right? So ideally, that's around the age of 22. Some people, they go on to get another degree, sometimes maybe mid-20s, 25 or so. But after finishing up school, basically, the people normally work 40 to 50 years from that time. So 40 years from then, fast forward, would be 65. And then 50 years would be 75. So whatever amount of money that you on average are making on a yearly basis, multiply that by 40 or 50, and that's how much you earn over a lifetime. So when I did the math on this, the average person is only making around 50,000 or so a year. So 50,000 a year, you multiply that by 40 years, that's only $2 million. And if you multiply that by 50 years, that is $2.5 million, right? So when you do the math on it, it's not really that much money, especially when you factor in inflation, you factor in taxes and things like that. And also too, still needing to set money aside for, retirement and things like that. It's not really that much money you're going to, and it's not really much wiggle room to live a very comfortable lifestyle. Now, you also pay the highest taxes, like I said, because you have little to no tax write-off. So this is one of the biggest differences between people who work jobs and people who own businesses. As business owners, we have massive tax deductions, right? We can write off really everything as long as it's tied to you making more money within your business. But you as an employee, you don't really have those types of benefits. And so before you can even get your money, half of that money or a percentage of it goes to the government, right? The next one is that the majority of your job income usually goes to bills. So you're basically working for free. You're never getting ahead, right? Because basically the way it works is you get your paycheck after you pay taxes. The rest of that paycheck normally goes towards your living expenses. And then whatever's left over is usually spent on entertainment or whatever. But it's never really going towards you making more money or you improving your financial situation for most people. So this is really the outcome. They're basically working for free, because after that money's gone, you go back and then you do it again. Next is, a job is filled with uncontrollable risk. So you can be fired at any time. If you can't work, your income stops and you can be replaced by technology. So these are all different factors that are not in your control. And the plan that society teaches us to follow, it only works if everything goes right the whole time. And over the course of 40, 50 years, there's a lot of things that can happen, a lot of things that can go wrong that are not really in your control. And the biggest difference is that with your own business, you really control everything. So for the most part, so you have a lot more controllable factors with it when you're basically working for yourself, where you're building up your own company and you're the one that's hiring the people, compared to when you're the one basically working the job that in someone else's business. Next is, the longer that money sits, the more it decreases in value. So by the time you retire, your money will be worth way less than it is right now. So the average 401k has around 300 to 400,000 in it. A lot of times it's less than that, but for the above average, usually around 300 to 400,000. This is after 40 to 50 working years. So, and then the average amount of money that it costs to live every year is around 60,000 a year after taxes. So when you factor that in, that money that is set aside in the 401k, you take that money out, you're gonna have to pay taxes on it. And then after that, whatever's left over, that's what you have to live on. So that's not really that many years of living if you're living on 60,000 a year, right? Just think about that. So in order for you to stretch that money, the only way for you to do that is either you have to get a second job, you have to lower your cost of living, or you just got to figure out a different way to do it. And so this is another way, there's another reason why saving that money and setting it aside is not helping people get ahead. So my advice is, use jobs to learn skills and use money to learn skills. These skills can be used within your own business. But at the end of the day, your money will depreciate with time. It continues to be devalued in time. At the end of the day, your body devalues with time. As you get older, you have less energy and things like that. But something that doesn't devalue, it actually increases with time, is your skill sets, your ability to solve problems in the marketplace. And as more money is printed and prices continue to increase, as you have more skills, you can dictate those prices. And as things go up, you can also charge more for your skills, your products, your services, if whenever you do decide to start your own business. And if you're already a business owner, you already know what I'm talking about. But skills are the most valuable asset. You're your most valuable asset before anything else. So investing into yourself and using the time to get yourself to learn was really what's going to put you ahead of everyone else. At the end of the day, like I said, a job is not going to make you rich, right? There's a lot of factors, like I said, that you can't control. There's a lot of things that go into it. So the job isn't going to make you rich, but while you're there, you should at least learn skills and use the money that you do have set aside to learn as much as you can, so that way you can actually use this within your own business. Okay, so yeah, this is the first point. Next one is that having multiple streams of income does not make you rich. So I know this is a really big buzzword that I hear on social media. A lot of people talk about this idea of multiple streams of income, and a lot of people get this confused. So they think this is what they need to do in order to get ahead financially, and it's actually not true. So when it comes to people who are worth a lot of money, all of them, and I know because I've studied them, they made their money by becoming great in one industry, and then they invested it into other ventures after they made their millions. So they didn't go out and start a bunch of different businesses at the same time and then just figure out which one was going to work. Like, no, they tried one thing, they went on to the next if it didn't work, and then once they found the one that they wanted to stick with, they stuck with it, became one of the best in their industry, and that's how they started to make a lot of money. Once they made their money, they put that into different investments and bought different businesses and things like that. So trying to do multiple things at the same time just causes you to end up distracted and making little to no money in each venture. Just think about that. If you're starting, you say you got a real estate business, a trucking business, you have a car rental business, and you're trying to compete with someone that's been locked in on this one business idea for the past 10 years, and this is all they do, you can't compete. They're already so far ahead of you just because of their time, attention, and resources has gone all in on this one thing, where you're spreading yourself out thin. So ideally, you're going to end up just distracted and not really making that much money. Now, if you have multiple things going on, you cannot compete, like I said, with a person who's all in on one. So just always remember that. You're just not going to be able to. But if you focus on one thing, all the people that are trying to do everything else, they're not gonna be able to compete with you because you're locked in on focus on that one thing. And so therefore you're gonna outcompete everyone else. Now, the lesson in this is make your money in one industry and then invest in creating other streams once you've made your millions. So the way that I'm applying this to my life is, me focusing on my funding company. This is my main vehicle for me to make my millions. And once I've made this money, then I'm taking that and I'm getting into other business ventures and things like that. But I'm all in on my company that I have right now because A, it's been working, and B, I know that by focusing on this, I can make all the money that I want to make, and I don't need anything else to make me any additional streams. I can focus on this and make all the money that I need, so that way I can get to where I want to go financially. So yes, this is point 2, and this is very, very important. Number 3 is your passion does not have to be what makes you money. Man, this is something that so many people get caught up with when it comes to this whole passion thing, following your passion. So let's jump into this. So first thing, the marketplace does not care about how passionate you are about what you do. Like, sorry to tell you, they don't care. All they care about is how great you are at solving their problems. That's it. You get paid in the proportion to the amount of problems that you can solve for other people. That's it. So think about this. There's a lot of passionate people who love sports, they love music, but not one of them is paid for their passion. If this was the case, everyone would be rich. Just think about that. How many people do you know that love sports or they love music, and so they go out and they try to start their own, start making music and things like that? But the reason why they're not paid for it is because they're not good enough. And that's just it's a harsh truth, but that's just the truth. That's why no one pays them for it, because people only want to pay people for things that are great. They want to pay people that are great at what they do. And yeah, so that's just really what it comes down to. People get paid millions because they are the best in the world at what they do. Millions of people are willing to pay money to see them do what they do best. So just think about all the different athletes, the different artists, things like that. The reason why they're paid so much money is because millions of people are willing to pay to come see them do what they do. But if you're not good at what you do, people are not going to pay you millions of dollars to go see you because you're not that good yet. So that's not saying that, give up on it. But what I'm saying is that passion does not need to be the thing that makes you your money. So pursue what you're great at and what people are willing to pay you for. That's it. If you focus on what people are willing to pay for, you can pursue your passion without even thinking about if it's going to pay you or not. Your passion usually leads you down the path of being an employee or self-employed, which limits you both in time and money. So in the first point, I already talked to you about all the limitations that come with being an employee. And then when you're self-employed, yes, you can make more money, but you're also limited as far as how much you can handle as far as clients or whatever you're doing, because you're only one person. So if you're doing everything within the business, you can only scale to a certain point. But someone who has a team, they can scale infinitely because they can continue to hire more people. So this is the difference between someone that's self-employed and someone that's a business owner. Big difference. Now, too many people go broke chasing their passion instead of what people are willing to pay for. I see this too much. And like I said, I wanted to let you guys know this because I'm like, don't focus on chasing your passion. Focus on what you're good at. And if you're not good at anything, you can become good at something. It only takes really about 500 to 1,000 hours to really become really competent at something. So just find something that you're relatively interested in, but not even that. Find something that people really find something that people really need. People really need help with when it comes to, solving a problem in their life, whether it be in their finances, their relationships, their health, whatever it is. Find a problem that you can solve that people really need and is in demand. And then pick a lane, learn it, become the expert. And then that's what you can start charging people for. And they're willing to pay you for it because they need it. So that's the big thing. Also, those passion-driven careers are usually saturated with people who are all doing the same thing, which makes it much harder to make consistent money doing it. So think about all these passion-driven careers. Think about someone that's a realtor, right? There's so many realtors. And mind you, there's a lot of people that also make a lot of money as realtors, but the ones who making the money aren't the ones who are so-called passionate about it. The ones who make the millions are the ones who are great at it. They've mastered it. They've created a system around it. They've made it to the point where they can handle tons of clients at the same time, and they can deliver high quality service to all of them. They're great at what they do. But the ones who are just getting in because they're passionate about real estate, they're the ones that aren't making any money because they're in it for the wrong reasons. Now, when it comes to my point on this, Get rich solving problems that people are willing to pay for, and then you can pursue your passion without stressing about money. It's so much better and so much less stress when you can do what you're passionate about and you don't even care if it pays you or not, because you done already made your money. That's the goal here, right? Like, make your millions. You can make that within a short period of time, 5-10 years, by you focusing all in on something that people are actually willing to pay for. And then you got the rest of your life, you can just spend your time just doing your passion or whatever, because you'd already made your money, and now you got to invest it into things, and you're covered. Your family's covered. So yeah, I say all that to say your passion does not have to do what makes you money. Number 4 is don't fall for the passive income myth. Man, the passive income thing is another buzzword I hear. So first thing I want to let you know is that no business is 100% passive. With the right systems and things in place, you can maybe get a business to the point where maybe it's 80% passive, but you're still going to have to meet with your managers and people that are overseeing the day-to-day responsibilities of your business. So it's not going to be like you could just disappear for a few years and just collect checks every day. That's not how it works. If you did that, your business will fall apart. So no business is 100% passive. It does not exist. But any business can have systems to automate things. Like I said, when it comes to systems, it's systems. So making sure that you have a process for everything, and also you have people who are great that can execute on that process. That's really what it comes down to. The only thing that is truly passive is money that you make on your money. So what do I mean by that? So in order for that to be a substantial amount of money, you need a large sum of money first. So when I say make money on your money, I mean that you need a large sum. Like, you need a few million to maybe tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to make a substantial amount of money. So I'm gonna give you an example. So let's just say you have $100 million working for you at 5% annually. 5% is a pretty easy return. Like, they have a lot of high yield bank accounts that can even pay you 5%. But 5% on 100 million is $5 million a year. $5 million a year is a pretty great amount of money. I mean, you can live very, very comfortably for the rest of your life on that money, and honestly continue to grow your wealth and reinvest that money into more things as time goes on. Now, if you try to invest 10K and you try to get that working for you at 5% annually, that's only $500. So when you think about that, that's only like about 40 something dollars a month. That's no money. That's not going to do anything for you. It may get you like a meal at a restaurant, but it's not going to do anything for you. So just, definitely consider that. Like, don't go out here trying to chase passive income. Focus on building something and creating something that actually provides value, create a system around it, and then focus on getting that lump sum of money, so that way you can actually invest it into something that will make you money on your money. So like I said, every business that is more passive, it's going to require a lot of time up front to create the systems. That's it. There's no way around the work. Okay. But true passive income comes from having a large sum of cash working for you. So if you don't have a large sum of cash, you should not be focused on passive income. You should be focused on your active income. How do I increase my income? How do I get to the point where I can turn my yearly income to my daily income? If you focus on that and you get that to the point where that's consistent, you'll have no problem creating real passive income. But you first got to get the large sum of money first to be able to get to the point where you have true passive income. But outside of that, you can still have a semi type of passive thing, and that's going to come from a business, but it's not going to be 100% truly passive. So don't fall for this passive income myth. Okay, that's number 4. Next one is use banks to access money rather than to save money. So this is a really big thing. I know that we're taught all our life to save money, but that's not actually helping you. So banks want you to borrow money because they only make money when you pay interest. That's it. A bank is a lending institution. It's not a holding institution. Honestly, your savings is a liability to them. Your savings cost them money every month because they need to pay you that 0.001%. And that may not seem like a lot of money at all, but when you multiply that by millions of people who use their bank, that can add up to a nice little sum. So what they do is they take, as soon as you get that money in, they're instantly putting it back out to be able to make 5 to 29% on different loans, credit cards, lines of credit, things like that. So in that way they can make their money, and then that's out of that money that comes back in, that's what they pay you your 0.01% on. That's how banking works. Now, if you borrow money to buy businesses and real estate, you never pay interest out of your pocket. So this is the game, y'all. Like, this is what people who make a lot of money, this is what they do. They borrow money to buy businesses and real estate, and they're not worried about interest because that debt that they're using is cash flowing, it's producing income, and that income is outpacing the cost of the debt. So it doesn't matter how much interest they're paying. It doesn't really matter because they're still making money. The only reason the banks can lend money out is because you save it. So if you didn't have savings in the banks could not lend out anything. So this is something that, to consider. Like the way that banks work is you put money in there, and now that you've put money in there, now you've built a relationship with a bank. Okay, this person wants to bank with us. And so now now that you got an account with them, you have some money sitting in the account with them. Now they're more willing to lend you money and give you larger lines of credit and things like that. Because this is how it works. They don't care about you saving money. They don't really benefit much from that outside of them being able to lend it. But for real, they want you to borrow. They make money on your money, so you got to use theirs to do the same. This is the game. Like use business credit to be able to make money for yourself and your family. That's the biggest thing. So my point is, keep your credit strong and build relationships with as many banks as possible that have great business credit products. It's a really big thing. This is what I've done. And this is how I've been able to accumulate over 300K in business credit. And I'm still continuing to get more. I'm gonna get to the point where I have over $1 million in credit lines. And literally it's just from me having good credit and then just me building out relationships with as many banks as possible. In the United States, there's over 4,000 banks. And all you need a relationship with a few of them, and that you can easily accumulate over $1 million in capital. And the same thing that you would do with $1 million in cash is the same thing that you can do with $1 million in credit. It's no different. Honestly, 97% of money in our economy is made out of debt. So every time you borrow, you're creating new money in the economy. You're adding more money to the economy. So there's no shortage of money. We don't have a money problem. We just have a strategy and a creativity problem. That's the real thing. There's not really understanding what we need to do. But if I'm telling you, this is what you need to do. Get your credit right and use this money to be able to make you money. That's it. And this is how you get out of the rat race. This is how you get out the trap. So now where you can focus on what really matters, which is your family and making memories and, just pursuing things that actually give you purpose and happiness. All right, this is really what it comes down to. But you can't do that if you're stuck in the rat race working a job for your entire life. Number 6, get paid for your production instead of your time. So remember in the first point, I said a job will never make you rich. Well, there's a little bit of a caveat. If you get paid for your production instead of your time, I'm not saying that you can get rich, but you'll be much more well off being paid for your production than being paid for your time. And here's why. So when you get paid for your production, you have much more control over your income. This is the first thing. So if you get paid, let's just say you sell something and you make a few hundred, maybe a few $1,000s per sale. You can sell as many of them as you want to. There's no cap on how many you can sell. You can sell as many as you want to, and there's no cap on your income. So that's the first thing. So to get ahead financially, your income has to be disconnected from your time. The more disconnected your income is from your time, the more money you can make, because that means that you can provide more value to more people. All right. So when you have your own business, you're not the one that's doing the thing. You're not the one that's fulfilling on whatever service you have. All you're doing is you're just making the sales. You're getting the sales done, but you can hire people to do the thing that people are paying for. And you can hire as many people as you need, but when it comes to the sales, you can sell an infinite amount of units. There's no cap to that. So the more disconnected it is from your time, all you really focus on is just getting in front of more people and more people buying. That's how the money is made. The money is made through sales. And then you can figure out how to fulfill it by hiring more people and creating a system around that. That's what business is. So an example is, let's just say a job, right? It pays you $40 per hour. So if you want to make $400, you have to work 10 hours. This is 10 hours of your life that you're never going to get back. And at the end of the day, you use this 10 hours, you've only made $400. Just think about that. Now, when it comes to a salesperson that sells a product or a service for $4,000 and makes a 10% commission, they made the same $400, but the working time was only 45 minutes. They maybe did it on a phone call or maybe in person. But they made the same amount of money in way less time. So this person ideally can make way more money than you're making at $40 an hour. Just sit down and do the math. If this person even made 3 sales a day, they're making $1,200 a day. You at max, you're only making $40 per hour. You do 40 times 8. What is that? That'll be $320 an hour, right? If you think about that, that's not really any money compared to someone that's making $1,200 a day. Just think about that. So yeah, when you sit down and think about it, yeah, you don't have the security of like a guaranteed paycheck, but at least you're being paid what you're worth, right? You're worth so much more than $40 an hour. but it's only up to you. That comes down to your belief in your self-worth. Do you believe that you're worth more? If you believe you're worth more, then it's up to you to, like I said, be paid for your production instead of your time, because this is the only way that you're going to get to the point where you have an excess of money and you can finally get out of that paycheck to paycheck type of pattern. That's really what it comes down to. You got to be able to disconnect the money from the time. Okay, so my point on this is learn how to sell. Learning how to sell is the fastest way to increase your income exponentially. Sales skills can always be used within your own business to sell your own products and services. So, like I said, when it comes to sales, sales is everything. Like, you can always hire people to do the fulfillment. You can always hire people to do the cleaning, or to do the whatever type of businesses you have, right? You can always pay people to do that for you. But the biggest thing is you knowing how to sell. Because if you know how to sell, you can always make money. That's the biggest thing. And even regardless if you're selling something for someone else or you're selling your own product, all sales are the same. It's all the same process. It's just a matter of you connecting with somebody, identifying their problem, presenting your solution, and then that's it. They pay you money, you make a little bit of money, and that's it. That's all there's really to it. You know, this obviously it's this very watered down version. There's a lot more to it, but basically sales is a skill. It's no different than you learning how to ride a bike. You learn at first you're gonna fall down. At first you're not gonna be good. But over time, like I said, in 500 to 1,000 hours, you become great at anything. So, I mean, yeah, you just spend a few hundred hours to maybe 1,000 hours learning how to sell. That will change your life. And I know from experience, because that's what it did for me. Before I started my funding company, I used to build sales teams and I used to help people sell their products and services online. And I made a lot of money doing it. And it really changed my life. So from my experience, this is the fastest and easiest way to exponentially increase your income. All right, so yeah, this is number 6. Number 7 is that a mortgage on a personal residence is a debt trap and your greatest liability. I know what society tells you. They say, oh, you know, you should own a home. A home is the best decision you can ever make. Actually, it's a trap, right? So I'm gonna show you why. So first of all, 80% of the payments that you make in the first 7 years go towards interest, barely paying down the actual mortgage balance. This is something that they're not gonna tell you. And the reason why is because they know that most people either move or refinance their home every 5 to 7 years. So when it comes to your payments, let's just say that you own a home. Your home is $400,000 and your monthly payment on that is $2,000 a month. You multiply that by 12 months, that is $24,000. You multiply that by 7, you're looking at around $168,000 in payments. Now, if you multiply that by 80%, right? Because like I said, 80% of that payment goes towards interest. Around $134,000 of payments of your payments went straight to interest, straight to the bank, in the bank's pocket, in the form of interest. And then the amount that went towards actually paying down your debt is only $34,000 over a 7-year period. This is insane. Now, if you would have took that same $168,000, that $168,000 could have bought you basically around $700,000, $800,000 worth of real estate, and that real estate could have been making you money every single month. So this is the trap, y'all. People are overextending themselves to be able to get into a home that they can live in, rather than building up their asset column first and buying something that's actually going to put more money in their pocket. This is the biggest differentiator between people who are wealthy and people who aren't. People who are wealthy focus on building their asset column first. People who are poor focus on just consuming, right? And buying things that just make them feel good right now in the short term, but they struggle in the long term. Next thing is, you think your payment is fixed for 30 years, but it actually increases with property taxes and insurance. This is something else they're not going to tell you. But as your payment or as your taxes increase and also your property insurance increases, they'll take that balance and they'll put it into your overall balance, and they'll spread it out over the 30 years. Like, it's insane. They literally did this when I had that one property back when I owned a property right in Vegas, and the payment went from around $2,000 to like $2,200, right? So it was crazy. So it was like the payment just increased, but mind you, this is supposed to be a fixed for 30 years. It's not an adjustable. This is fixed for 30 years. So you think that your stuff can increase and it's going to stay the same. That's not true. It can increase at any time, and the ones who are in control of it is the banks. You have no control over this. Next thing is that you increase your debt to income ratio, making it more difficult to get approved for business credit and debt that can actually make you money. So the more debt that you take on personally, the harder it is for you to get access to credit lines in other ways, right? So all because you want to live in this nice home, I mean, that's cool, but you still, at the end of the day, you still don't have any assets. You still don't have access to credit lines to be able to take advantage of opportunities when they arise. So you're missing out on opportunities all because you're living in this house. So what is the opportunity cost? What is this thing really costing you in the long term when it comes to not only all the money that you got tied up in the house, but also all the opportunities you're missing because you can't even get access to more money to be able to take advantage of those. Just think about that. You pay for all maintenance, all property taxes that increase every year. You got home insurance and also HOA. Not every home has HOA, but if it does, I mean, yeah, that's a pain. And but all these other things are also expenses that come out of your pocket every single month rather than a landlord. So that's something to consider. Like also too, you're locking up money in a house that could have been working for you at a higher rate of return. The average increase on real estate is around 3% a year. It can increase more depending upon how much money they're printing. But when it comes to you making a 3% return, you can make a way better return. If you took that 30, 40, 50,000, or however much you put down on a property, you put that money into yourself, right? And you learn how to double, triple, 10x your income, you'll get a much better return on that money than you just putting it down on a house. Just think about that. So if you make right now, you make 50,000 a year and you invest that into yourself, you learn how to make $500,000 a year. That's going to have a much bigger effect on your life than you owning some home. Now you make $500,000 a year. If your expenses are still only around, 60,000 or so, you still got around $400,000 to $300,000 after taxes, maybe 200 or so, depends upon how much taxes you pay. But that's still a few $100,000 a year that you can set aside now and continue to build up your actual asset column. 200,000 that can acquire you about $800,000 worth of real estate. That 800,000, you do that for 2 years, you already own $1.6 million worth of real estate. So just think about that. This is the game, y'all. If you really want to get rich, this is how you do it. It's not hard. It's just math. When you sell, you also pay transaction fees, capital gains taxes on any gains, and 5 to 6% in realtor fees. This is stuff that they also don't factor in. This can add up to tens of thousands of dollars that you're losing literally by just selling the house. So overall, this is why I believe a mortgage on a personal residence is a debt trap and your greatest liability. Okay. So paying interest to the bank through a mortgage is no different than renting. The only difference is that you pay the bank directly. Renting does not add to your debt. It can be tax deductible at times, and it gives you way more flexibility, especially while you're still building your asset column. So this is something to consider, y'all. Like this is something that I've learned from personal experience. When I owned a home, all these factors are things that affected me, that I saw with my own eyes. So me telling you from my experience, this is something I learned when I was 20 years old. You can take this information and you can do it differently, right? You can avoid this and you can focus, like I said, on investing into yourself, learning information that can help you double, triple, 10x your income. And then you can take that money that you make and you can start buying investments. So this is what I'm doing now, right? I've already made the transition. We already got rid of that property over a year ago. Been running it up in my business, and our next thing is being able to buy assets that actually going to put money in our pocket. And it doesn't take much to be able to get to the point where you own enough real estate to the point where A, you pay no taxes, and B, that the cash flow that's coming in exceeds your expenses. Once you're there, you're good. I mean, it's just a matter of like just acquiring a few pieces of real estate, the right properties, great deals, and that's it. You know what I mean? You just continue to just build from there. But it's not hard, y'all. It's really just learning what you need to do and just doing it, like I said. So yeah, really consider this, y'all. Like rent right now, especially if you're young, so that way you can build up your asset column. You can own real estate, you can buy businesses and get to the point where you're financially free. And then if you want to pay for a home, instead of getting a mortgage, you pay for it cash because you already made your money. It doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? You could pay for this house 10 times over. That's what I'm doing. All right. So it's point number 7. Number 8, wealth is created through business ownership and protected through investments. So this is something that we're actually taught in the opposite way. So what we're taught, right, what society pushes us to think is that wealth is created through investing, and that's not true. Wealth is created through business ownership. The reason why is because business ownership scales exponentially. Investments, they fluctuate, they're volatile, and as far as getting a consistent return, the returns are pretty conservative. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So a business is a system that solves problems for people at scale. So this is the reason why you can exponentially make one year you can make $1 million, the next year you can make 10 million. Right? 1 year you can make 10 million, next year you can make 100 million. It's all exponential because it's all based on how many people end up doing business with you and how many people can your system fulfill on and help actually provide that service or product to them. That's really what it comes down to. With your own business, there's no cap on your income. This is the main thing. You control everything. Your income scales exponentially. The business itself has real value, and it can be sold for a lump sum. So once you have consistent profits coming in for at least a few years, that business has value as long as it's separated completely from your time. Because if it could make you a few $1,000,000 a year without you having to be present, it can also do the same for somebody else. So someone else is willing to pay you maybe 10 million, 20 million for that company in the form of, cash. It could be stocks, whatever it is, but they'll pay you a lump sum of money to take over this company, and you get that money, and then that money you can put into more assets. And that's really how you get to the point where you ain't nobody catching up to you. You're so far ahead of the game, and you really get on the point, get to the point where you're creating real generational wealth. Now you also, as a business owner, like I said earlier, you have access to so many tax benefits that allow you to keep way more of your money. So this is a big thing. Anything really as a business owner, 99% of it can really become a tax write-off if you spend money in the pursuit of income. Like I said, I'm not a CPA, so do your own research. But this is something that I've used in my own life. When I go on a vacation, that's not a vacation, that's a business trip. When I go out to eat, that's not me going out to eat, that's a business meal. When I go buy a car, that's not a car, that's a business vehicle. When I buy clothes, that's not clothes. Those are business clothes. Those are business outfits. You know what I mean? This is how wealthy people think. Whenever you go take a flight somewhere, that's not like I said, that's not a regular flight. That's a business. That's a flight that we're taking, to go on a business trip. So these are all little things that people use. Wealthy people have been using forever, and has helped them get ahead financially because they're not paying any taxes on the money they're making. So when you make a lot of money, you pay no taxes. This is how you get ahead way faster than the average person. The average person is making a little bit of money and paying a lot of taxes. So when you do the opposite of what everyone else is doing, you get a better result. Now, making money in business is not based on working long and hard. It's based on your ability to sell your products and services to the marketplace and acquire new customers. Like I said, it's not about hard work. I mean, yes, it requires a lot of effort to be able to do the thinking, to be able to figure out how can I create this system that not only solves a problem for someone else, but also provides a great job for someone else as well. And once you figure that out, that's really the real work. And then it's just a matter of, okay, how do I expand the system? How do I get in front of more people? It's hard work, but it's a different type of work. It's more mental than it is like physical. Okay, so and when it comes to the physical hard work, you can hire people to do that stuff. So it's not really about hard work. It's about working smart, and then finding great people that can work hard for you. And while you also provide them a great opportunity to be able to learn skills and make money at the same time. And yeah, that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, this is really what it comes down to, y'all. Like your ability to sell products and services to marketplace and acquire new customers. Now, when it comes to real estate, I know a lot of people, think like, oh, I'm gonna buy real estate, I'm gonna become a millionaire. Well, the biggest thing with real estate, the biggest benefit, wealthy people, they buy real estate to save money on taxes. Okay, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, cash flow is cool, but the real benefit is tax deductions. That's it. If I can make $1 million and pay no taxes, rather than me having a $400,000 tax bill, I get to keep that $400,000 in my pocket, and I can use that to acquire more real estate, more businesses. That's the real game. And also too, as I acquire this real estate, it increases in value over time. So the more real estate I have, the more wealth compounds over time. But it's only going to be, like I said, the vehicle that's going to get you there is you owning your own business. It's not going to be from you just buying a few properties here and there, right? So that's something to consider. And when it comes to the cash flow is not going to be super crazy on a few properties. But as you accumulate more, yeah, it can grow, and it can become actually a pretty substantial amount. But the first thing, the vehicle, is going to be your own business. It's going to be you making a large sum of active income, and then taking that money, putting it into real estate, so that way you can keep more of your active income. And then also too, you get those the appreciation, you get the principal pay down, you get the cash flow, all those different things. All right, so that's really what it comes down to. And also too, when it comes to the stock market, that's a whole different thing. Stock market, stocks are volatile, but they also don't really give you any tax deductions. So, do your own research and stuff. But yeah, investing in the stock market, investing in real estate is not going to make you wealthy. Building your own business and making millions of dollars through that is going to make you wealthy. And then you buy the assets to keep your money, so that way it's protected, and you're not going to go out and lose it overnight. You know what I mean? So that's really what it comes down to. Protect your money with investments, make your money in business. That's it. So you don't necessarily have to be a full-time entrepreneur, but you do need to build up your asset column if you don't want to struggle financially for the rest of your life. So if you don't want to rely on a paycheck for the rest of your life, you have to own assets. You have to own real estate. You have to own businesses. So that way you can separate your time from money. You can be on vacation and still be making money. You can be asleep and still be making money. You have something that you can pass down to your kids. You can't pass down a job to your kids, but you can pass down businesses and assets to your kids. So that's something to consider. All right. So this is, like I said, something, everything that I'm telling you here, I'm already doing. All right. So yeah, like I said, I've already been a full-time entrepreneur for 2 years, and every single year I'm making more and more money. So it's just a matter of you just doing it. All right. Just taking that leap. Now, debt is actually a powerful tool, right? When used to produce instead of consume. I know a lot of people are, another belief that we're taught growing up is we're taught to fear debt, or debt is scary. Debt is not scary. Debt is just a tool, right? Like I said, debt is money. 97% of our money in today's economy is debt. Okay, so debt is not scary. But from the time we're kids, we're taught to want the latest things. We're taught to be consumers. We're programmed to be consumers from a very early age. From just watching TV and seeing all these commercials, you're taught to want the latest toys and latest video games, things like that. Then as you get older, the toys just get bigger. Now instead of a video game, now you want a house. Now you want a car. Now you want the nice watch. Now you want these flashy things that cost tens of thousands of dollars. And over time, that money could, like I said, be going into your asset column. And whether you have access to easy credit, to debt, it's this whole consumer mindset, it just compounds and it puts you in a really tough spot when you use debt in this way. Now, debt only hurts you when you use the finance things that don't generate income. So that's cars, personal homes, consumer credit card debt, student loans, medical debt, furniture, electronics. This is what most people use debt for. This is what they think credit is for, and this is why they're poor. Debt is not used for rich people don't use debt for these things. They use debt to make them money. They don't use debt to finance these things. All these things like cars and personal loans, they pay for that stuff cash. It's paid for. The thing that they use the debt for is the businesses and the real estate. That's the real game, because that's what's actually going to make money every single month. Every rich person, like I said, they're in debt. So all the rich people that I know, that I've studied, that I've learned from, all of them are in debt. They're just in a different type of debt. They're just in debt that's used to buy businesses and real estate. It's like, okay, I can use leverage here. If I got 10 million, let's just say in cash, but that 10 million in cash can give me access to, 20, 30 million in debt. I can use that 20, 30 million and I can buy 3 times the assets. And those assets can pay me 3 times the money. That's really the game when it comes to how rich people use debt and how I use debt. You know what I mean? If you use debt this way, it'll change your life. Now, personal debt, this is a big factor, a big thing as well. Personal debt can only be paid for with after-tax dollars, whereas business debt can be paid for with pre-tax dollars, allowing it to be paid off much quicker. So this is something as well to consider. When it comes to your personal debt, you usually have to earn money, pay taxes on it, and then you can now start putting that money towards paying down the debt. Now, when you use debt in your business, debt can be paid for with pre-tax dollars. That's what a tax write-off is. When you can make money and you don't, and basically as a business owner, you make money before you pay taxes on it. So you can get the money in and you can spend it on business expenses before you pay taxes legally. And so when it comes to you using debt in your business, as long as the debt is attached to you making more money in your business, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So you can pay off this debt with pre-tax dollars, and that you're able to pay it off a lot faster. So I'll give you an example. So if you have $100,000 in personal debt, you need to earn at least $125,000 to have enough just to pay it off after tax. So you have to earn an additional $25,000 and give that right to the government just to be able to have $100,000 in cash to be able to pay off your debts. Now, if you have $100,000 in business debt, you only need to earn $100,000 because the debt was used to make more money. So this is something to consider. This is a really big factor. This is why wealthy people also only use business debt, because when it comes to business debt, you can pay for it pre-tax dollars and you can pay it off way faster. So this is a game, y'all. Like, business credit is not scary, right? Credit itself is not scary if you understand how to use it properly. This is a game. Like, all people who are afraid of debt, they're getting left behind, right? They're still focused on saving money, while we're over here getting access to capital, getting access to business credit, and we can take advantage of opportunities while they're still over there sitting on the sidelines. That's just what it comes down to. So debt is not scary. It's a tool that could be used to get you ahead financially if you use it to make money. That's the big thing. Having access to business credit lines allows you to take advantage of opportunities, while most people are missing them because they're still waiting and saving up. So this is a big thing. How long would it take you to save $100,000? It'd probably take you at least 5-10 years. I can get access to $100,000 tomorrow if I wanted to, by just having great credit, properly set up LLC, and the right banking relationships. You have those 3 things in place, and you know what to do. You know who to talk to in the bank. You can get access to this type of money, and you can use it to change your life. That's it, y'all. So this is all stuff that I've been doing in my life that's really been making a difference. Now, the last point is you can always make more money, but you can't ever get back time, right? This is something that people that work jobs also don't think about, right? And I'm not grilling people that work jobs. All I'm saying is I'm just trying to make you aware. If you work a job, that's fine. It's cool, right? But you got to think about these things because you're not going to live forever, right? You got to really think about this. What type of impact you want to make in your life? You want to make a big impact, you got to really think about these things. Okay. So first thing is that time is not money. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. So this is a quote from one of my mentors, Myron Golden. Time is infinitely more valuable than money because time itself is a limited resource, whereas money is printed daily. They print money. There's no shortage of money. Money is everywhere. It's abundant. It's everywhere. Literally every time you borrow money, every time you get a credit card, you spend on it. Every time you get a loan and you buy a car, you're creating new money in the economy. Every single day, people are borrowing money to buy things. So money there's no shortage of it. The thing there is a shortage of is time, right? The average lifespan is like around 75, 80 years old. So you're not going to live forever. You know what I mean? So you got to really be very intentional with your time and your money. So that way you can get yourself and your family ahead, and you can really be able to live a great lifestyle, because the quality of your life is based on the amount of experiences that you can fit into it. So if you could fit more great experiences into your life, you're going to have a great life and you can reflect on it. But if you're working a job and you're just waking up and going to work for the rest of your life, I mean, you're spending more time at your job than you are with your family. So think about that. Now, when it comes to using money to buy time, you can do that by investing into yourself and learning from other people's mistakes. This is what I've done. I've been able to accelerate and get ahead so quickly because I can learn from people who have already made the mistakes, people who have already done the things. I read a lot of books. I invest a lot of money into programs and different mentorships, and all the mistakes that they've already made, that they took them a few years to learn, I can just pay them a little bit of money and I can learn all that stuff downloaded into my brain, and I can apply that stuff in my life and get the same, if not better results than they got. Right? Just by using money to buy time in that way. Also too, you can hire people within your business and also your personal life. If there's things that, you can easily pay someone else to do, you can use that as an opportunity to create an opportunity for someone else and put food on their table. And also too, now you get to get this time back and you can invest into an area that is actually going to move the needle forward further in your life, right? Something that you enjoy doing, or it's going to make a bigger impact in your life or your business. This is why wealthy people pay people to do things, so that way they can spend their time doing things that actually matter, right? That actually move the needle forward. And lastly, you use money to buy assets, because that causes time to work for you instead of against you. Like I said, your body is deteriorating when it comes to you buying assets, businesses, real estate, stocks. You have notes, things like that. These are different things that as time goes on, they continue to appreciate. They go up in value over time. Right? So as time goes on, time is working for you rather than against you. When you just work a job, you don't own assets, time is working against you because you're just getting older. And once you're gone, you're replaced the next day. When it comes to your assets can be, go up in value over your entire lifetime, pass them down to your family, and now they can do the same thing for them and their kids. So just think about that. That's really what the game is, y'all. And any old billionaire would trade all their wealth just to be in their 20s again. So think about that. If you're still pretty young, like, you have such a great opportunity to really do big things in the world, and you don't have to struggle. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of you doing something different. You learning some new information, you getting into the right rooms, you taking a different path and taking different actions that actually move the needle in your life. This is really what's going to make the biggest difference. Okay, so use this time wisely. And yeah, Warren Buffett didn't make his first $1 million, or he didn't have at least $1 million net worth until he was 30. So you get there before 30. I mean, yeah, like, he's like in his 90s now. In 60 years, he went from $1 million to hundreds of billions. So if he did it, what makes you any different, right? It's nothing. There's nothing that makes you any different. He's not special. He's just a regular person. He just figured it out, right? And you can do the same. So like my biggest point is use time wisely. Money is important because it buys you freedom to spend your time however you want to. This is why money is important. So don't get this confused by me saying that time is more valuable than money, so money's not important. That's not what I'm saying. Money is important because it buys you freedom. So money is actually extremely important because it buys you freedom to spend your time however you want to. Like I said, time is limited, but if I have enough money, I can spend my time however I want to. And the more memories and experience you can fit into that time that you're here, the better. All right. So with that being said, these are my 10 points, y'all. I hope you guys got value from this. Like I said, if there's something that stuck out to you that you learned from, put it in the comment section below and let me know. Let me know what you guys think about this video. This last slide is real quick. I wanted to let you guys know about how we can help you implement these things into your life. So becoming a part of the JSN family. If it's anything I said in this video that you learn from, then you can greatly benefit from working with us. Okay. So book a call, my team and I, if you need help with any of the following. First thing is getting access to 100,000 plus in business funding. Like I said, it's going to take you probably a decade or more to save up $100,000, but you can easily get access to this type of money within a few weeks, as long as you have your stuff in order. And if it's not, you can get it in order within a year or two. So you're able to get access to 100,000 way faster than you can ever save it, right? Remember that. And this money is used to make you money, not used for you to go out and buy the latest cars and Gucci bags and things that just aren't going to make you any wealthier. Number two is we can help you with making more money, getting access to more money, and understand how it works. So this is just a little bit, y'all. It's a little taste of just the knowledge and stuff that I've accumulated. And this is why I'm where I'm at such a young age, because I've been able to learn this information and apply it to my life. So I'm living proof that this stuff works. So if you need help with that, we can help you. Number three, learning financial literacy and managing finances better. I've been studying this stuff and learning stuff for the past 5 years now. So if it's worked for me, it'll work for you too. We can teach you how to learn financial literacy and also help you with your finances. Number four is if you want to start your first business. Like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for 2 years now. By this time next year, I've been an entrepreneur for 3 years. Every single year that you're in the game, you get better. You make more money as long as you're doing the right things. So if you're starting your first business, take that leap. We'll help you with that. Number five, if you're growing an existing business, if you've already been in the game for a little while, we can help you get access to more capital. We can help you manage your finances better and help you get to the next level. Number six, if you're paying off high credit card debt or high utilization, there's actually ways for you to move money around so that you pay less interest and pay off that faster. A lot of people don't know that, but we can actually help you with that as well. And lastly, if you need help with fixing bad credit. So like I said, we're a funding company, but we have a great credit repair partner that also knocks out all credit repair issues, right? So anything on your credit can be removed. Doesn't matter if it's a bankruptcy, foreclosure, it could be late payments, charge-offs, collections, doesn't matter. It can all be fixed. It's just a matter of you taking that action and to do something different in your life. So with that being said, y'all, my name is Jalil Nash. I hope you guys got a lot of value from this video. And with that being said, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know, like I said, if you guys like this style of content. I enjoy making this for you. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.